Hey guys, so for this video, I will be doing the K-pop Secret Santa introduction tag. Um, I'm really excited. So this year, we're doing something different. Everyone's doing like a tag video for everyone who's participating in this year's YouTube K-pop Secret Santa. Um, so I will start with the questions. And yes, so also I want to apologize about my camera angles, but it's been a while since I actually filmed a video and my tripod had originally broken, so that was another reason why I haven't gotten to upload much. But I got a tripod recently, and so I will be showing some of the albums as well while answering some of the questions. So I'm really excited to answer these questions. So all right, let's get it started. So the first question is, how long have you been making YouTube videos and what initially inspired you to start? So I will have been uploading videos for 5 years now. I will hit my 5-year mark in December. If you look back on my channel, the first video that I ever uploaded was a K-pop collection video. And I think if you look through my channel, you can see how much my collection has grown. So yeah, that was my first video, and what initially inspired me to upload K-pop YouTube videos were actually K-pop unboxers. So I would say Shadow 360 was a big influence for me because of how opinionated she was in her videos. I think that for the most part, I like to listen to people's opinions about the album and the packaging, not just necessarily unboxing the album. And you get to also know the person's like musical taste and their personality. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to actually talk in my videos. Initially, I just was obviously my first video was just a compilation of photos of my albums, but eventually I not necessarily gathered up the courage, but I managed to have or find tripod and start uploading more frequently. But Shadow 360 was a big influence on me. Obviously, Tina Davidson was a great uh, uh, pioneer for just the K-pop unboxing community. So she also kind of inspired me to upload as well. But just more my style is more discussion based. And I know Shadow 360 doesn't particularly do those type of videos anymore. And I love her new style of videos because she has a great personality. So shout out to her. So the second question is, who is the group that got you into K-pop? So, my answer is kind of unique, in a way, because who got me into K-pop initially was Dongbang Shinki. So, I will show some of the albums that are related to some of these questions. Actually, kind of little interesting thing. As I was looking to find albums to put throughout this video, my shelf broke down, and so some of the groups that I will talk about, I will not feature albums for because I had to clean up like a huge mess. But the most important ones will be in this video. So Dongbang Shinki was my first K-pop group, and initially, I thought they were Japanese because I actually listened to J-pop before K-pop, and I didn't know much about Korea in general, so I didn't know I was listening to Korean music, and I was addicted to the melodic album, and I watched that video so many times. I thought it was like really cool, really interesting, and I would listen to Dongbang Shinki's random songs that would come up on YouTube. I was really young, I think. Let's see, 2008. I was around, I think, 11 or 12. No, not 11 or 12. Let's see, 2008. Like 12 or 13. So I didn't know much about Korea at all. And eventually I started listening to Big Bang and Shiny as well. Was what there were other groups that I was listening to as well as BoA. And to connect it to this answer, because I wouldn't say I was particularly into K-pop at that stage. I got more into K-pop with Girls' Generation's O release. That's when I really got, I would say, addicted to it, and I went full on trying to learn members' names, learn group name, like actual groups and their like members and their discographies, all of that stuff. So it's like a mix. So it's Dongbang Shinki and Girls' Generation. Initially I got exposure with Dongbang Shinki, and I really like them. Obviously they're my ultimates, and but Girls' Generation were the group that kind of solidified my interest in getting into K-pop. So that's kind of my answer to that question, because I would say if you're into K-pop, you kind of know what's going on in the K-pop world, and I was not necessarily too aware what K-pop was really about. I just knew just random Dongbang Shinki and Big Bang songs and random Shiny songs, and I didn't really particularly know much about like other stuff. Also, 21 was another group that I was listening to, but Girls' Generation were the ones that kind of solidified that with O. So the third question is, who are your current favorite groups? I have a lot of groups that I love. My two favorite groups are Dongbang Shinki and Girls' Generation. They're my obviously they're the ones that got me into K-pop, so it's kind of full circle with that question. But those two are really kind of like my ultimate favorite groups. I think that as five, Dongbang Shinki are unmatched still when it comes to just K-pop groups, when it comes to talent. And I know there's a lot of controversy with the members, because you got Yu-chan with his whole thing, and then some things Jejung has done, and Junsu, and kind of Homan they're much more on the less controversial side. But solely focusing on the music and the talent, they I don't think there has been a group as talented as Dongbang Shinki, and that's just my opinion. You can have your own, and I know everyone has their own thoughts of who is the most talented, but to me, I think that they're just incredible, and I still support Holman. And JYJ is not a thing anymore, but definitely them. And Girls' Generation, they are kind of the group I kind of had more of a I guess more personal K-pop experience with. Not that I ever really got to meet them or anything, but I kind of grew more up with them because they promoted a lot more, and at that time K-pop subs were becoming more of a thing. and obviously probably now there is much more accessible. But back then they were becoming much more prevalent, and I kept up with like a lot of socialified channels, a lot of just Girls' Generation sub variety shows and whatnot. And yes, so I just completely fell in love with them overall. Um, their variety shows, their K dramas, their music, their projects. I just completely fell in love with the nine girls. And to me, they're really, really special because they are my childhood. So whenever I get to look at a lot of the albums that I have, I don't regret buying them because of how many memories I have while listening to them. Girls' Generation is extremely special to me. And if you are aware of my channel, you obviously know those two. So here's Girls' Generation. I put these two because of these were their 10-year anniversary albums. But very close behind, Shiny is right there behind Dongbang, if not practically almost the same. Shiny is another group that I actually as well. Well, Shiny is the group that I one of the few groups that I absolutely love, that I got to kind of experience their whole journey in a way, because I did get into Shiny, or started listening to Shiny once they debuted. I wouldn't say I knew everything about them, but I was listening to their stuff because they're always on the recommended section when I was listening to Dongbang Shinki's songs. So like I listened to Amigo, Replay, and all those songs, and listen to their comebacks without really knowing much about them. And to again, variety shows and whatnot, but Shiny, and they just have a really special place in my heart as well. And I chose this album actually because it's called Five, and I know without Jonghyun, like it's hard for some fans, but I think Shiny will forever be five in my eyes, and Jonghyun is present in all of the future releases in Shiny, spiritually. And it's obviously is really sad to not get to hear his voice in the songs that they will release in the future, if they want to continue kind of releasing music, because right now they're on kind of a hiatus with their military thing. And with their 10-year anniversary, obviously Jonghyun did not necessarily get to feature it in that album, but Shiny are super, super special in the K-pop world. In my opinion, I think that they have this special sound and image that cannot be replicated at all, and that's why they are up there for groups for me. And I just think they're extremely talented in everything that they do. And yes, I love all the members. Their music is just addictive. And another group that is extremely important to me is Brown Eyed Girls. Maybe some of you guys don't know much about them, especially if you're kind of more of a new K-pop fan, but the Brown Eyed Girls are a much older group. They debuted in 2006, and they are chameleons when it comes to music, and they're one of the most talented K-pop groups ever. And I think they are like the longest lasting K-pop group like in K-pop history when it comes to female groups, and they kept their original lineup. So it's incredible to see how the girls are kind of have kept like their friendship and their promise to kind of continue making music, even though it's not on a consistent basis. But we do get an album like every 3 or 4 years or so, which is completely understandable, especially because all of them are kind of living their own lives now, and they have like their own solo projects going on. But their albums are just pure gold. um i'm I just, and their concepts are just, oh my gosh. But this is their first album. It's pretty rare. Their stuff is practically difficult to find, but I'm really happy that I have a complete collection for them actually. So um I adore them. I adore them. And Kain, which is one of my ultimate biases, so if you didn't know that. Yes, so absolutely love Brown Eyed Girls. Their sound is just constantly evolving. And another group, kind of keeping it to a minimum right here, is Kara. They are kind of around the same time of as Girls' Generation, 2007. There are another group that I kept up with for a majority of their career. Well, yeah, except for I guess 2007. I didn't get to really listen to them, but when it comes to title tracks, I think Kara has one of the most iconic singles discography. It's just, it's pure perfection. They sing my favorite K-pop song, which is Step, and I love their music. It's just, their music is really uplifting for me whenever I need to kind of be energized or want to be cheered up in a way. I listen to a Kara song. When they sing together, it's just magical. I don't know any other way to describe it, but I love Kara's music. I think they left the stamp in K-pop. They are the sweet tune queens. So after when once Kara kind of got their momentum, and Sweet Tune kind of started getting more popping with other groups, but I love their music. Other groups that I don't have right now, Infinite is up there for me. They have a really similar sound to Kara, at least for their beginning stages. I love their title tracks. Their albums are just great. Nine Muses is another group that I really love. Tiara, an extremely solid discography. What other groups? G-Friend, when it comes to just newer groups. EXO I really like as well. And yes, so I would say those are kind of like up there, like favorite groups for me. When it comes to just overall their discography, I support a lot of groups. If you can look at my individual collection videos, and you can see which groups I followed for a long time. But those are kind of the ones I mentioned are ones that I just absolutely love. Their discography. Obviously, there are some songs I don't particularly enjoy as much, like any other artist, but those are just up there. But yes. So question number 3 is, okay, so I will be unboxing a album, and the reason why I chose this album is because, like I was mentioning, Kain is one of my ultimate biases. I would say this album represents my channel because it's much older. It's from an older artist. And that's kind of the basis of my channel. I don't particularly get into newer groups. That's just because I, it's very difficult for me to get into newer groups, and I kind of stick to the ones I've been listening to for a while. Doesn't mean that I will never give them a like a listen, but it's for me to just start buying and collecting and all that. It just takes a lot. I'm buying a lot less, but I also picked this album is because Brown Eyed Girls are supposed to be making a comeback this year, very soon actually. I read it's gonna be in October, so I'm at the edge of my seat to buy the album. And yeah, so let's get to it. This is one of Kyne's best packaging. I wouldn't say it's her best album, but it had one of her best music videos, which is for her single "FU" or you know. Okay. So it's very simplistic. The photos are not necessarily very extravagant or anything, but it just showcases that simplicity can really go far, in my opinion. I think she did an incredible job with the concept of this album. And I'm really upset actually that she didn't get to release a part 2 for her And Again. I think that's what it's called. Where she promoted the single Carnival, and she kind of disappeared on us, and I really want to hear her music again because I think she's one of the best solo artists out there. I think if there's anyone that's more kind of, I wouldn't say recent because they kind of debuted around the same time, but Sunmi, I think she definitely took inspiration. Here's the disc from Kyne for her solo career. I think that Kyne, she doesn't. I don't think from what I'm aware, she doesn't write her songs. But I think she does. She's very selective with which songs she picks for the album that she's going to promote. Like the concept, I feel like Kyne is very involved in that whole process, and I think she was definitely an inspiration for Sunmi. I'm very sure of it, because Sunmi has been able to make a lot of social commentary about how the criticism that she gets for basically doing anything, but Sunmi gets to write her songs, as well as I think she's getting her hands into actually producing the songs as well, but that's kind of more of what I'm enjoying the most right now in K-pop, which is as well why I kind of picked this album, is releases that have substance to them. So I not particularly very interested in what everyone else is doing, because it's sounding a bit repetitive, but here and there you do get a really good music video and a song with a lot of substance and meaning and a just overall great concept. So that's why I'm looking forward to Bright Eyed Girls' comeback, because they always have something special with their releases. And I think also that's just my shift in musical taste, I guess. And that's kind of what I'm enjoying mostly right now in K-pop. So the number 4 is Who Tagged Me. So SanaaStoria tagged me. She's also one of the people who is in charge of the logistics and all of this, along with The Rest Is History. And I really want to say thank you to her and The Rest Is History for just scheduling and doing all of that, because I'm sure that it's really time consuming because I have a busy life, and I'm sure they have an even busier life. So thank you so much for organizing this year's Secret Santa. And again, I apologize. Sometimes I ramble with my questions, and just get off topic and whatnot. But really thank you to her and for obviously tagging me. The questions were really fun. And then the sixth question is, who am I tagging? So I have Dear 10, and she has an amazing channel. Much better than mine, that's for sure. I think her videos are super clean and well edited. It's just, those are the channels that I get jealous like of, because of how much time you can see that they dedicate into editing the videos, filming them. It just looks really crisp in my opinion. So I recommend all of her videos, but one of the videos that actually is related to the initial thing that I was saying, that how my shelf kind of broke down, is her reorganizing and cleaning my K-pop shelf video. Because I need to start doing that. I think that when you collect a lot of K-pop groups, it's a bit difficult, especially if you have limited amount of space. I think, kind of speaking for the ones that have a much bigger, extensive collection, a lot of us just put the albums into storage boxes, which is what I've been kind of experiencing. But I do have to organize, and just watching that video, just be like, I wish I can be as clean and organized as her. And it's also really cool to see how she just structures how she puts the album. So it's just interesting to me. I just love watching this type of videos because it gives me ideas of how I can organize some of my albums. I know obviously everyone has different sizes and spaces in their rooms and their homes, so I just get really interested. I was like, I wish I had a shelf like that or something like that. But and just all of her videos are really good. They're just much better than mine. I'll be that, if we're being honest. I will link her channel as well on the description. I'll also link SanaaStoria's channel as well in her video, so you can watch her tag. And yes, what else? Yeah, I'm looking forward to sending my Secret Santa their gifts. We'll see who I have and who I need to send the gifts to. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, and thank you so much again for inviting me. I think also, before I go, I don't necessarily upload as often as I did before, but the great thing about this event is that it just really brings the K-pop unboxing community here in the States together. I made really nice friends over the past few years, and I get really excited near the end of the year when I get to do the Secret Santa event, because it's just special, just kind of to celebrate that friendship and that love for K-pop and Korean culture. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to do it again this year, and I'm looking forward to watching the other tags and everyone else's Secret Santa. So bye guys.